Hey guys, welcome to Monday's Keto Fasting live stream. I'm just gonna get ready by putting just one of my older videos just to give some time for people to settle in. I'm a little bit late, so it'll just give me time to get a little bit more organized. So bear with me. This one's on seed oils, so it's very important. Doesn't matter what diet you're practicing. Very important to know these details. Hey guys, all right, so I'm in my car. Don't worry, I'm not driving. I'm about to go into the grocery store. So I'm going to take the opportunity to look at some of the packages, the ingredients in the middle section of the aisle. All of the middle section is full of vegetable oils. So I'm not talking about coconut oil. I'm not talking about avocado. I'm not talking about olive oil. I'm talking about the ones that are not cold pressed. I'm talking about the fabricated vegetable oils like canola that comes from the rapeseed, soybean, sunflower, any of the other oils. There are solvents that are put in to extract the resins out of the seeds. They use pressure, they use heat. This damages and causes oxygen radicals that are damaging to us. It's oxidative stress, high in omega 6, which is a precursor to inflammatory molecules, which is okay. We need omega 6, but if you're shopping in the middle section, you're getting way too much vegetable oil, way too much omega 6. Well, no, you're not. You should not consume any vegetable oil, but you're definitely getting too much omega 6. Omega 3 is the one that helps anti-inflammatory. So both of them work in tandem. Inflammation is a normal part of the healing process, but when it gets out of hand, which can occur if you're consuming a lot of the packaged foods with vegetable oils, then it can aggravate diseases and cause diseases. So let's go inside the grocery store. Let's look at some packages. I suggest that if you are trying to be healthy, that you look and avoid any of these vegetable oils like the plague. I've done a previous video on this, toxic vegetable oils. I'll pop it up over here for you to look at it. All right, see you guys. Bye. Awesome. Avocado oil. I'm going to be healthy. No more vegetable oils with their omega-6 and disgusting solvents in them. Hey, let's look at the ingredients. Hey, first ingredient, canola oil. Oh, big surprise. Yeah, right. They don't put that on the front of the label, eh? Let's see something else. Hey, that's ooh. It is de l'huile de l'olive. Canola and extra virgin oil. And by the way, if they put the canola first, it means that the main ingredient's that. It always has whatever's the most is the first on the label. So there you go, guys. Be careful with all of these packaged foods and stuff like that. Same thing for all the sardines. If you're going to do the sardines, you may as well just go for the spring water. All of these are going to have some kind of vegetable oil in it. There you go. Sardines, soya oil. Okay. And the fondue stuff, same thing. You're going to look in on the side, and let's go find the vegetable oil. There's the vegetable oil near the cornstarch. All right, most sauces and stuff like that. You're gonna look over here. Let's go find the vegetable oil. There you go. Uncle Ben's. Come on, Uncle Ben's. I thought I could trust you. He has a trustworthy face. Are you not trustworthy? All right, let's find some canola or something in there. Boom, canola. Taco, burrito. What's that coming out of your Speedo? You got trouble. You got trouble. So tacos. Where's palm oil? Boom. All the kind of Indian curry kind of sauces. Vegetable oil. Boom. Bagel bites, a staple to any healthy diet. So we got down here. I got the soybean oil there. Right. So basically, all this stuff here, which is, I mean, no surprise, is vegetable oil. Healthy sweet potatoes, spicy wedges. Oh, this must be good. They took the time to say that there's no trans fat, low in saturated fat, cholesterol free. Awesome. Must be super healthy. Canola oil. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. All this stuff. Boom. Let go of my ego because it's vegetable oil in it. Something with olive oil that's not tainted by vegetable oils. Like this one. It's pure extra virgin olive oil. Maybe I'll buy that. Vegetable oil. So water, vinegar, vegetable oil, canola oil, soybean oil. Wow, why don't they put those delicious things on the cover? Boom. It's shake and bake, and I helped make you sick. Canola oil. Right after contains celery, canola oil. Boom. You're aware that the vegetable oils are inflammatory and really unhealthy and not natural for us, so you make the effort to get extra virgin olive oil spray for your pans so things don't stick. But it has soybean oil in it. Boom. Vegetable oil. Maybe if I look at it, it's just going to be pure olive oil since all the olive oil stuff has the vegetable oil. Maybe I just live in bizarro land. Hey, they're low in sodium. Boom, vegetable oil. Hey, it says nature. It must be healthy. Let's see. Multigrain brand, blah, blah, blah. Cottonseed oil. Boom. And this stuff's super healthy because it says 100% whole grain. Awesome. Right beside the germ, water, vegetable oil. Boom. Okay, guys. Also, just because it's brown bread doesn't mean it's awesome. Often brown bread actually has some kind of soybean or something oil or canola. Soybean and or canola oil. Boom. Hey, look at this plant-based oil. Margarine. A healthy diet. Low in saturated fats and trans fats may reduce the risk. Hey, 60% canola oil. 6% olive oil. Come on. Freaking thing says olive oil on it. It's only 6% olive oil. Why isn't there canola on there? Most peanut butters, unless it actually says 100% natural. Soybean. Hydrogenated vegetable oils. That's awesome. Cottonseed, rapeseed. What about peanut oil? I mean, that's freaking peanut butter. Here, like this one, for example, 100% natural peanut butter. And when you look at the ingredients, it's peanuts. So, oh, here, ingredient peanuts. Wow, that's refreshing. It's peanut butter made from peanuts. Wow, revolutionary. Boom. All right, guys, I checked the flowers. There's no canola oil or anything in them. So you can buy your wife this without causing her to be inflamed. All right. Did I even share that? Yeah. Okay. I hope so.
Yeah, this is one of my other videos long time ago, before I even understood how to do live streams. So these were all like filmed, and then I did edited on Kind Master, looking crazy, talking to boxes. It was quite enjoyable. Um, all right, so Bruce is having issues with his channel. He had a big long live stream on his Avenue Astronomie Quebec or something like that, his French channel. So he felt really bad. He's like, dude, like, I just, I think he's tired and he has to deal with stuff. Obviously, he's like a full-time content provider and does his research. I said, Bruce, no problem. I said, he also is like, my scale's broken. I can't even give an update. So I gave him a free pass. I said, Bruce, I never feel like obliged to come. Nobody should feel obliged to come. We come, for fun. There is my Patreon page. Obviously, we will help you as much as we can. We're not giving special content over in the Patreon. It's just that it's more one-on-one. We can FaceTime in private. We can troubleshoot. Some people might not want to do this live on a live stream. Post it over the internet for all to see. So if you want to just support my work, if you follow this and have some good results, I think it's $5 Canadian per month, or $3.50 American. Let me know if I got that right, Darla. I think that's the thing. If you have questions or comments that you wish to specifically address or that I acknowledge, please put them all in cap locks. Never mind with those emojis and stuff like that. It's very easy for me to follow along. And when I see a cap lock, I'll definitely won't miss it. I got a little stuff that we can talk about. A little bit of reading about maximizing weight loss, the difference with the science. What's the science say? Like weight loss with a more of a lower fat approach or a low carb approach. Anytime I'm doing PowerPoints and other things, specifically when I'm popping something up on a PowerPoint, uh, everything I can provide a citation. All right. What I recommend as the best book is to get this on whatever Indigo Chapters or Amazon or something like that. It's quite a large book. It's not all research. So the recipes are this side and the research is on this side. So it's pretty much a half-see. All citations are always at the end of the chapter, so that right or wrong, at least you know where the information is going. So at the end of each chapter, you have these are all citations from studies. So this is far from being a fad diet that popped up maybe 5 to 10 years ago. It's there's been versions. We went through the history, kind of low carb, how it was kind of founded more on fasting, because when you're fasted, you have very low insulin levels. You have a stable sugar level, and that's pretty much fat and a normal, stable glucose level, no insulin being spiked, and through this, you have you're relying strictly on fat stores, and as well, you're relying on fat to maintain your blood sugar level. So to change fat into glucose, there is some energy expenditure that's required. So that energy expenditure as well will burn more calories. Going straight to the chat before, we got Jason shamelessly plugging his Patreon page because he's totally motivated by money. I plan to retire in depending how much money you guys give me, 5, maybe 10 years, but I'm going for 5 with all the money that I'm going to make from you guys selling my snake oil. Link doesn't work. You need HTTP. Wonderful. I thought that I posted the HTTP. No, I didn't. Well, give me a second, guys. Let me try that again. This is the time, if you do have questions, to please let us know. And pop this up on. All right, so let me see if this is how it's done. Did Darla Lama, was she successful at doing it? I mean, you can copy and paste the Patreon. Like maybe you can't click it, but you can just copy, paste it, and put it in Google, and it arrives. But I understand maybe it's more of a nuisance. Let me pop up my channel and see if I can post it just in that chat as well. I don't know if that makes much of a difference, but we're about to find out. All right. So here's my 4 million attempt. No, I'm sorry. I just tried to do the HTTP, but if you just highlight it and then you go put it up on the top, it should work. So I guess I'll deal with this problem eventually. But if I go here to the share screen, let's waste some time here. I love dead air time. You're not going to see my face for a sec, guys. All right. So I copy and pasted this Patreon thing here. And yes, Michelle?
You have the keys for your car? And is there a reason why the door's wide open? I said, is there a reason why the door's wide open?
I don't touch those doors. There you go. I closed this one for the air conditioning.
No, your car.
The car, I don't know. I don't have anything smart to say. The car doors are open. All right. So I put, you see over here, patreon.com, and it goes to my Patreon. So just copy and paste it. That's what I do. Let's see, Darla Lamas, if I click it. Yeah, it goes as well. So I don't know. I'm satisfied with that. All right. Link doesn't work. All right. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Hi, I'm here, but wheat truck just arrived, and I'm listening. Well, thanks a lot, Christy. Thanks, Darla, for being here to moderate. Darla Lama, we'll be back to chat as quick as I can. All right, no problem. Hey, Will, how are ya? Good evening to yourself. I've inserted it on top. Yeah, thanks, Darla Lama. I'll figure it out. I still have to figure out how to do live streams specifically in Patreon. I'll call up Bruce and ask him. As mentioned before, Bruce has other engagements. He has things to deal with. And he's been streaming a lot, and he felt bad. And he's like, oh, man. I'm like, Bruce, no problem. Come when you can and update us next week. So I just want to pop up something over here too. don't forget, questions and answers. That's what I'm here for today. And we can pop up people that are actually interested, that are in the process, that want to maybe have a one-on-one conversation so that I can answer, just during the stream, somebody. Let's put up over here, slideshow. Do it from the current. Okay, so I don't think that we have any new people. So I think people are pretty much aware of the purpose of this live stream. So I'm comfortable helping people to lose weight with a ketogenic diet. Those who do not want to restrict their carbohydrates so much, we can do a low carbohydrate diet as well. People have just as much success with a low carbohydrate diet. Low carbohydrate under 100. I think that people will be able to lose weight as well on a low carbohydrate diet. Some people do the ketogenic diet that severely, as you know, restricts. If you're following a textbook, it'll say more like 20 to 30 grams, no more than 20 to 30 grams. And you'll have a much quicker result because you're removing a non-essential nutrient that can be beneficial at certain times. And this is glucose. This is carbohydrates. If you're a young, strapping, muscular man, doing sports, I see no reason why you should look at carbohydrates as something that is not good. These people will exert themselves. Therefore, the glucose that is stored in their muscles, and it's stored as glycogen and glucose. So you actually put on a lot of water weight. When your muscles are emptied of sugar, you'll have a lot less water in your muscles, and that does fluctuate with weight and has nothing to do with fat. So changes in weight doesn't necessarily, it can, but doesn't necessarily mean changes in fat. As well, depending how horrible your diet was prior to that, you will also, with the ketogenic diet, supplying an appropriate amount of primarily animal fat and getting your protein and as well fat within animal foods, anything from chicken, moose, you name it. Okay. If we want to turbocharge that, then we can use intermittent fasting. And we'll get to that a little. I'm going to pop down this screen shortly, but this is a pretty good guide for keto food lists. So there's really no limitation on any kind of animal source nutrition. Okay. You look at it, whatever you want, you got it. Then after what are we going to be drinking? Well, water. We encourage you to drink water. If you like coffee and tea, you could drink it black, or you could put some cream into it. Bone broth. Get a good homemade recipe on bone broth, and seltzers like Perrier and carbonated waters and stuff like that. You can eat nuts and seeds. Okay. These are the ones that they consider the best. But just keep in mind the seeds in moderation. What these peanuts and seeds often have, for example, peanuts, you're going to have a decent amount of fat. You will have a decent amount of carbohydrates, and you'll have some protein. So if you're scarfing a lot of nuts and seeds, you will bring up your calorie count quite high, and you will be consuming at the same time two kinds of fuel, the glucose, and you'll be getting fat, and they'll be like kind of entering the bloodstream at the same time. There is some research that says that when you are doing glucose ingestion along with fat at the same time, both the fat and the glucose, their ability to use energy is somewhat down-regulated. Okay, it does something. To what significance, to what degree of significance for us, I'm not sure. Vegetables and stuff, they usually say like, non-starchy vegetables. So yeah, the potatoes, yes, sweet potatoes are lower in glycemic, meaning the long chain of glucose is broken down slowly. It has a slower increase in insulin. But there's, lots of greens and stuff like that. You can fill. So what you're doing is you're primarily filling a lot of animal food on your plate, and you are putting some vegetables. Those are, in a way, your new side dishes. If you have been so brainwashed by culture that you must have a side dish beside your steak or lamb or whatever you're doing, sure, your sugar sources should be vegetables. Okay, and dairy, well, they put eggs, duck, quail, goose, sour cream, cream cheese, Greek and natural yogurt. Watch out, they still do have some carbohydrates. For me, it's like any variety of good quality cheese is good. Again, if you're in the weight loss phase, you won't get fat if you're scarfing down the cheese. You might hit a plateau. Don't forget that we've eliminated a source of energy, glucose, that our body, we've probably been running with glucose as an energy source for most of our lives, unless we come to understand, low carb keto, what's up, with that. So if you remove the carbohydrates, the glucose, and then after you're ingesting fat and protein and whatever vegetables that are pretty much higher in fiber and low in actual amounts of significant amounts of glucose. But if you start stuffing your face with cheese, which is, high fat, what will happen is you'll still feel the benefits of a ketogenic diet. That appetite will be under control. There won't be any cravings. Your mood, your energy levels will be more stable. But you do have to realize that if you're in the weight loss phase, you have fat on your body. That's what you're trying to access. So somebody who is doing a ketogenic diet, I don't like it when they say, very low carb, fine with that, and high fat. Well, high fat compared to what? Oh, compared to the low fat, high carb diet that's making everyone sick for the last 70 plus years. So I call it a higher fat diet. It's higher than the horrible standard diet that they just keep on pushing down our face because they want us to go to the grocery store and consume a wide variety. Wow. I don't know if you hear that. That's thunder. Berries are pretty good. Again, in moderation, a cup of berries once in a while is a good idea. As far as like fats, like obviously you're getting some fats in the meat. You're getting fats in the nuts and seeds. These dairy cheeses and stuff like that. Yes, you're getting fat there. Eggs, you're getting fat. So you don't necessarily have to run after extra butter and stuff like that. But the fats that you can use is butter, not margarine, that's seed oils, ghee, heavy, half cream, eggs, coconut, avocado, or MCT oil. So MCT oil has its benefits. It's a medium chain triglyceride that can be converted, and it bypasses certain channels and produces ketones very quickly. Now, if somebody is trying to lower their epilepsy, and they're trying to improve that, then as far as some therapies, depression and stuff like that, you might want to take some shots here and there of MCT oil, because it will raise your ketone levels, and they kind of use the ketone levels that are created rapidly, along with the ketones that are naturally being produced if you eat ketogenically, can enhance your cognition, can improve many things like depression, mood stabilizing effects to a certain extent. And we know that Axona is a prescribed food supplement they give to Alzheimer and dementia patients, which they don't really make it obvious, but it's ketones. So Alzheimer's benefit for ketones. Seems like everything that has to do with neurologic issues seem to work better when you're dealing with a ketogenic diet, when the ketones are feeding your brain. There is about 20%. There are certain pathways within the ketogenic, there are pathways within the brain that require strictly glucose, and that can be produced. It's called gluconeogenesis. If your body has some protein, it can convert that into glucose, and even fat as well. That's why if you're fasting, you don't have a 0 millimole per liter measurement. I know I'm not currently on full screen. I just wanted to make this screen as big as possible for you guys. Quickly, foods that you should avoid. Just realize that even the vegetables, fruits and vegetables, are not the fruits and vegetables that we used to eat. Definitely nothing similar to wild, they are made to be bigger. They're made to have less fiber. They're made to be sweeter. So things like apples, bananas, grapes, oranges, pineapples, even fruit juice is completely useless. It's like, look, if you're going to do it, at least eat the fruit. To me, fruit juice it's like Pepsi. I don't really think that we should be drinking fruit juice. If you're going to have a fruit, just eat the whole fruit. At least there's some fiber that can slow down the fructose and glucose that's within there. I think like a decent apple is 20 grams. So that's the issue. It's like, okay, you can eat an apple, but you're already like maxed out on your carbs for the day. But that's fine if you want to eat pretty much, quite carnivorous diet, strictly animal food, and your 20 grams is one of these fruits or a side vegetable, then yeah, you'll get a little bit of vitamin C and stuff like that. I do encourage that liver being consumed. Liver and eggs to me are a superfood, and if you don't overcook it, I put it in milk. The beef liver, that's kind of the most strong taste. Soak that in water overnight. You can mix it with steak, and you can put just as much as you want. If it's not like something that you've been raised on, and it's just not something that your palate enjoys, I think that it is right up there with my top 3. Cod liver in a can that gives a whopping 15 grams of omega-3 DHA EPA. Completely correct our body that especially if we're just starting, is overdosed with omega-6 that is 15 to 1, 20 times higher than the omega-3, which will actually not even allow the small omega-3 that you're getting to even enter into where it should be. And it's very important omega-3. Fats. The fats that we should not be eating is canola oil, corn oil, Peanut oil, sunflower. Oh, people think it sounds a little bit healthier. Sesame seeds, soybeans, sometimes just called vegetable oil, and things like that. If you're going with keto sites and stuff like that, they'll say that olive oil is okay. They'll say that avocado oil is okay, and often they'll mention something about it has a higher burn point. So I'm like, no, I don't care if it has a higher burn point. Do not cook with olive oil. Do not cook with avocado oil. These are still somewhat polyunsaturated. We know they are because polyunsaturated produces oil. Saturated fat produces a solid. So avoid the products that we create with seed oils, such as instead of cooking with lard, we're cooking with Crisco shortening, which is just seed oils that have been hydrogenated that produces trans fat. They're not good. They're inflammatory to a certain extent, could be rancid. So don't go for the margarine lye, go for butter. Do not go for any of these cheaper oils. They are toxic. In my opinion, they are a major factor. What's really killing us nutritionally is the drastic reduction in animal fats. That reduction, as much as possible, they want to replace it with these seed oils that they make a fortune by. Okay, so and then after they overdose us with carbohydrates, strictly fuel, causes insulin resistance, right down to diabetes, metabolic resistance. It forms glycation of various molecules, literally sticky. If you look at Alzheimer's, put it simply, there's a certain aspect of insulin resistance or diabetes in the brain where the sugar that you're consuming isn't getting into the brain cells, and the brain cells die because of the lack of energy. This is why with ketones it can pass through and give energy to a Alzheimer brain that has insulin resistance. And if you're eating that way, the insulin resistance should as well be reversed. Now, another aspect of Alzheimer's is the fact that there are glycated, sticky beta amyloids. They as well are killing your brain. If we are at that stage, we're not at a preventative stage. If we're at the stage where we actually have the disease, I think your only chance is to start doing some pretty significant prolonged fasting. Start it slowly. So remove the sugar. Let's go keto, 20 grams. Let's do the meal, one or two meals. If you're doing two, stick those into like 4 hours. We want to keep the insulin as low as possible. If you get used to that, try a 48-hour fast. As soon as possible, start ramping up the duration. There's a safe way. If that's something that you would do, there is a safe way of doing that. We need to watch out and have some electrolytes, like focus primarily on sodium, potassium, magnesium, because you will get some cramping. This is a transitional period where there's a lot of things that are occurring, that your kidneys are releasing more electrolytes during the adaptive period. This usually settles down. A large part of it is that you're losing so much water weight that electrolytes are being pulled. Also, insulin has an effect on signaling the kidney whether to retain or to excrete sodium. The grains, in my opinion, grains are not healthy. Okay, in my opinion, they're not. I think that they did use grains in healthy societies. We can see that in nutrition and physical degeneration. They are not the barley, oats, rice, and wheat that we now consume that have been genetically modified. They strip the bran from the wheat to increase, the part that delivers the carbohydrates. They're playing with, they're somewhat Frankensteinish. The grains also, the way they would prepare, let's say bread, there was a like sour bread, and it was usually like just a bit of bread here, like not like a whole plate of these grains scattered with a few beans in there, and some of these canola oils. This sounds like a vegan menu. The beans as well, avoid them. They are packed with carbohydrates, so you're going to be getting inferior protein because they won't have all of the essential amino acids. Studies have shown with these beans and as well as most plant protein, they have less of a muscle building stimulation, less of an anabolic effect. So you can go out socially, drinks that I suggest that you drink. Sure, you can have a few beers. A lot of them are, like the 90 cal, the lower carb, but, fit it into your 40 grams or 30 grams or 20 grams. Guys, you have a six pack, okay, of just regular beer. Yeah, you consumed a lot of carbs. You'll burn through the alcohol, and then after you will maybe have a little bit more weight. If you don't do that every day, you'll pretty much lose that and be right back on track. But there are red wines, there are hard stuff and stuff like that, vodka. You can do like a vodka diet cranberry juice that has barely any carbohydrates. So there's ways to look around. Over here at our alcohol stores, they have the grams per liter in there. So the drier wines are usually low. So you know what, you don't have to stop socializing just because you're on this. Now, if you indulge, let's say, in beans or grains or whatever, okay, you topped up your glycogen, you're going to weigh yourself the next day, and you're probably going to have some water weight there that's added. You did not spill over with one significant meal even of carbohydrates, but you have delayed yourself because for that day, for sure, you're not losing any fat. You're completely anabolic, and you're not going to have easy access to your fat storage. Just going to bring that down. You're not going to have easy access to your fat storage until you kind of go through the glucose. All right. What else are we getting? So that's kind of the to-do list. All right. And you'll notice that if you follow what we should eat and what we shouldn't eat, you'll see that you're going to be spending most of the time on the outside area of your grocery store, the fruit, the vegetable section, the butcher section, where pork, chicken, liver, and the seafood section. And then after, you can go to the dairy section where you get the butter and the eggs, and you just did the whole rotation there. Like I said, somebody could be like, well, I want to do 100 grams. You'll lose weight. It's really just a question like how fast do you want to get through this? Is there everybody that is aware of what keto flu is? If you're not sure what keto flu is, it's an adaptive period where your body has been calibrated. The energy source within your cells, the mitochondria, are used to glycolysis, just used to burning glucose. Yes, we are burning fat as well. Fat's being used. The heart, I believe, functions not on carbohydrates, functions on fat and things like that. But if you're sticking to the outside area, if you want to start with 100 grams, check it out. I'm sure that if you were eating the recommended dosage, really, yeah, of your fat, protein, and cholesterol, fat, protein, and carbohydrates, you'll see that if you've gone from 300 grams and you're going down to 100 grams, you'll probably do a lot better. Just it'll slow you down. So intermittent fasting is not really a change in the amount of food you're eating. It's just that you're trying to eat for the day instead of all throughout the day. And the benefit of that is that, hey, I haven't really changed what I ate, but I stocked it all in a smaller box, a smaller time period. And instead of eating 16 hours a day and not eating for 8 hours while you are sleeping and then breaking your fast with breakfast, then by switching it up and saying, well, I'm going to try and get all my food in 8 hours. That gives you 16 hours of no insulin, and that helps you metabolically, helps prevent your cells from becoming insulin resistant, which is eventually the same as diabetes. Diabetes is just insulin resistance has achieved a certain threshold where your pancreas is starting to poop out. Then we end up having to inject these basically insulin junkies because they're eating food that spikes it the most. Their appetite is ravenous because they're not eating appropriately. And all of their ghrelin, leptin, these hormones that are supposed to be well calibrated, letting us know when we're truly hungry and letting us know when we are truly full. You follow this 65% carbohydrates, you're limiting the fat. We know that people that have rabbit starvation, meaning they are able to catch animals, let's say like rabbits, but it's so lean that they are gorging themselves with meat, but there's no satiety. They feel constantly hungry. So just with the recommendations of lowering these fats to a very low level, this is not going to allow somebody to feel satiety. So you're doing low fat, high carb. Well, try the intermittent fasting. It'll feel like you're starved. And it's very, very hard for people, even at 100 grams. For me, 100 grams will return a ravenous craving for carbohydrates. It's a dangerous, dangerous thing. I'm playing with fire. So I know that if I did it once, I notice my appetite is increased the next day. I'll just eat more keto meals instead of doing, one meal a day or something. It's important as well, and we'll get into it a little bit, that weight loss is not as simple as calories in and calories out. All right, because macronutrients, meaning fat, protein, and carbohydrates, they do different functions in the body, and they act together too. So what I'm saying is, if carbohydrates is just fuel, okay, it can't build anything in the body. If you're doing 1,000 calories, an experiment, right? 1,000 calories of glucose for a month. Then after you're doing 1,000 calories of protein only for a month, 1,000 calories of fat for a month. What's going to happen is in the fat group, it's going to be mimicking very much a fasted state. You have no carbohydrates. You're functioning completely on the fat. It's giving you easy access to your adipose tissue as well. So that puts you really into a fat burning mode. Your body can maintain its muscle, especially if you're doing a little bit of resistance training, just to say, like, I'm using it, I don't want to lose it. Just with a month of fat fast, you will lose, in my opinion, the fastest amount of weight. And if you're doing protein, I've done, there's been like protein power diets that are high in protein. I think that you'll lean down as well. Protein can produce sugar, and your body will not die from 30 days of no fat. We know that people don't die 30 days without any food. I know a 24-day faster. I know a 41-day fasted person, and I know a 71-day fasted person. And we know that the longest one, I believe, was 385 days fasted. What else can we go? Let's just go to the comments. I do want to read a section in the Ketogenic Bible for you guys. I'm here, blah, blah, blah. We read that. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Darla. Hi, Leah. Thank you. They're mentioning my Patreon page. Like I said, I'll help you guys here one-on-one. Pop up. I'll answer all your questions once a week. But if you want to first of all be in a community that we speak, every day, I look at this. I'm going to learn how to do, just live, face to face. Hey guys, so what do you understand so far about the ketogenic? How are you feeling, and stuff like that. I was mentioning the ketogenic flu that they call. Some people have it worse than others, but when you stop eating carbohydrates, you don't transition immediately into a fat burning machine. You could feel sluggish, just like somebody who does carb cycling, high carb, low carb, no carb. The person during that low carb day might feel very hungry, very clouded, just sluggish and things like that. So this is not because once you start a ketogenic diet that, oh, well, look, my body's giving feedback. This is this is unnatural. No, that's not the case. It's actually that we've been eating a unnatural diet for so long that we're trying to return to a more human appropriate diet. And it just takes time for the mitochondria to start pumping out energy efficiently with fat. So you could feel very much brain fogged. You could feel weak, tired. You can feel dizzy, especially when going from sitting to standing. That it is important in this period to not be afraid of salt. Okay. My father had hypertension. He had high blood medicine. And once he went on the ketogenic, we have no choice but to add salt to our food, which we've always done. It just seems now that we've done the low carb, the low fat, high carb, that all of a sudden salt, we don't deal with salt very well. If you look at our ancestors, everything was way more salted than the salt that we're probably consuming. That has to do with the signal sent to our kidneys dependent on insulin, signaling whether retain or release. You're losing a massive amount of water weight, especially people that are fat, but that have a decent amount of muscle under their fat. They can lose in a few days 20 pounds. At that point, there's not much fat loss, but that's the emptying of your glucose reserves. Also, people that are, don't take offense, but people that are, instead of fat, people that are, overweight, constantly eating because of the cravings that are uncontrollable, to a certain extent, it's not their fault. The way the low fat, high carb functions, it creates an dysregulation, a dysfunction in the hormones that usually function well when you're eating a human appropriate diet, which is highly carnivorous with a side of plants or whatever. And I don't even think that they consume that regularly. Anyways, when you're eating this way, in a human appropriate way, the salt is eliminated much faster. And what happens is, if you're eating a standard American diet, there is obviously blood that is flowing through your vessels. and water follows salt. So if you have inflamed, damaged vessels that are narrowing, that causes the increased blood pressure. If they're this big, your vessels, and you have 5 liters of blood, and then you start getting inflamed, well, you still have that 5 liters and it's squishing. So your blood pressure goes up. Imagine in that state, now you have a decent amount of salt in your food. What's going to happen is the salt enters the bloodstream, and it also adds water. Could let's say add 500 milliliters of water. So now on top of it, you have 5.5 or 6 liters in this inflamed tube. So it makes your blood pressure skyrocket. Then doctors attribute that almost to give the impression that soda itself is the cause, when it's not the cause. The cause is a highly inflammatory diet. Let's acknowledge all the weird words that are on the side of the boxes, and the preservatives and other such things that are probably toxic as well. And then on top of it, you have large fluctuations of glucose, high levels of glucose, and then that spits out a lot of insulin. High insulin in your blood in and of itself will rot you. This is why diabetics that start having to get injections of insulin so that it forces more and more the glucose with a stronger and stronger signal, which is killing you, because the pathology of diabetes and insulin resistance is a chronically high insulin level. The only way to correct that is to create a low insulin level. So you should be eating fat, which is low level, protein, which has a response, but it's very low. And we should not be using sugar. Our glucose is high. So why are you actually ingesting glucose when it's high? What you should be doing is very, very, very low carbohydrate. And you should be doing intermittent fasting or fasting itself. It's the quickest way to reverse diabetes. Yet they call diabetes a chronic and progressive disease. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Wife's got okay, they're just talking about other stuff. Always read labels, avoid fructose, glucose, and sucrose. Yeah, fructose is a special little beast. Fructose, to my knowledge, if I put it simply, fructose will go to replenish only liver glycogen. So if your liver is already full of 100 to 120 grams, I think it can fill up, then you're banging in a lot of fruits and stuff like that. The fructose doesn't have much place to go. And if you're already on a high carbohydrate diet and they're being told eat plenty of fruits, the fructose will cause a problem. It gets stuck in the liver, and it causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I don't suggest any figs. Just if you're not sure, just pop up, dried figs, nutritional information. You'll see the macronutrient content. Yeah, there's a storm on the way, because I could hear the rumble. What about adding MCT oil in salad with balsamic vinegar? I mean, sure. There I don't mind as well, avocado or olive oil as well. One thing that the problem is that they're spiking all of these avocado and stuff like that. They're spiking the avocado with seed oils. They're sneaking in, and they're trying to make a profit because it's cheaper. So they can do half or 3/4 or 1/4 seed oils and still sell it the price of olive oil, which is sometimes 3 times the price. There was a study done on all of this, and very, very expensive, olive oils happen to be tainted. So it's not even if you go to like, oh, well, this one's straight from Italy. Balsamic vinegar. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And yeah, if you want to add, so there's some oil to it. Yeah, MCT oil is fine. It doesn't really have a taste. I find it has a buttery taste, actually. So yeah, it'll mix well with balsamic. And at least I'm more confident that the MCT oil is not tainted. Vinegar, nothing against vinegar. Balsamic is sugar. Well, we'll have to check that out. Let me check now. Vinegar. It says per 1 tablespoon. I know you guys don't trust me. Got to show everything. All right. Share screen. Balsamic. Yeah, so he's right. I mean, it depends how much you want to put, right? 1 tablespoon is already 3 grams. Yeah, so I mean, how many tablespoons are you going to put? Like 3? Well, you're at 9. If that's the only carb that you ate that day, like you had some big pork chop or something, and then after you have a salad, okay, you got a few tomatoes, maybe adds a little bit more. But yeah, a little bit balsamic. I mean, to be honest, like if you use anything but balsamic, you'll see that even the balsamic that you buy at grocery stores that are more like, the craft ones and stuff like that, they shake it up, all that oil and stuff like that, that's all seed oil. If you want to see how the seed oil is in everything, then I suggest you just look at the introduction of my video. It's a 9-minute video that I'm popping up that's archived in my older videos when the channel was specifically about fasting and keto. It's called Fast Keto Prime. So yeah, balsamic in moderation, I guess. Yeah, don't forget, guys, questions, please just do it in cap locks. I'm still looking right now, but see, like I talk about a carnivore diet, Christy, but what I mean is, like, well, first of all, my carnivore diet is if it's animal food, it's carnivore to me. And I'll buy, let's say, ground beef, and I'll just like have 3 days of ground beef making patties and stuff like that. You can put bacon, you can have some like cheddar cheese in there, make it fancy if you want. Don't heat or cook with anything other than those solid. I like rendered duck fat. It never turns brown. So it's saturated. Well, not completely, but it's highly saturated. Maybe olive oil if it's a very low simmer, like when me and my wife do vindaloo. I mean, it's not boiling. It's on a slow simmer. Maybe I'm less worried about that because I'm not going to be putting like tubs of, ghee and stuff like that just to have the fat in there. No, I felt instantly better. I'm on day 7 and or 8, I believe now. Okay, Christy, would you like to come on soon? I just got a few things to go through. Any one of you can come on. You're all welcome. Starting strict keto after my birthday for 2 months. Then, please be a regular here. Like I said, I'll coach you guys here for an hour and a half. I'll answer questions. You can come on, so it's faster than texting. You just want to have a chat with me. Listen, just want to make sure, is this what I'm supposed to do? Blah, 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 blah. And obviously, if you want to join my Patreon, yeah, that'd be, I like getting $3.50 a month from somebody, because I'm basically offering you daily access. I look at the Patreon, and I will answer your questions immediately. It's beneficial because instead of saying like, here's my email, on Messenger talking with you and then another person, then I'm trying to do my morning bread streams, and then I'm trying to do this. It starts to get a little bit repetitive, and if I significantly help improve your health, like you lose 70 pounds and stuff like that, $3.50 for that, for all the free information, would be greatly appreciated. LA says, I fasted 25 days water only and ended up in the ER. That could be possible. You can drink too much water, which will dilute your electrolytes. It'll stimulate more urine production, so you can have significant electrolyte imbalances. If for some reason you think that you should fast from water as well, that can be extremely dangerous. So a safe way of fasting, I'm assuming now I'm speaking to somebody that's on no medication. I would, this is somebody that doesn't have a chronic disease and stuff like that. But in general, you start slow. You see how you feel with a ketogenic diet. I would say you can do, let's say, one meal a day for a couple of days. You feel good with that. Make sure you get through the keto flu before, and then you might try and stretch it out for a 48-hour one. And that went well. Have a meal or two, a few days, and hey, I'm gonna go try for a 3-day fast. You can build yourself up that way. You do not continue unless you feel amazing. The problems that you can run into is especially sodium. You'll pass out. You'll feel like you're going to pass out. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Don't forget there's baby in the bed.
Yeah.
Okay, come. My keys are hanging by the door.
What time?
I imagine I'm going to have a come.
Yeah. Love you. Yeah. And electrolytes function a lot together. So if one gets wonky, it can start wonking a lot of other electrolytes. I am not a supplement guy, but at this point, I find, take a Centrum. They're mostly precursors to vitamins. You're not going to get retinol. You'll get the beta carotene and stuff like that. But it's the only time that I'd be like, no, I want you to have a smooth ride. So have a Centrum vitamin. Make sure to have some sodium as well as potassium. If you look on most pickles that are jarred, most of them have for sure a significant amount of sodium, and usually some potassium too. So you can take a shooter of that. It's kind of like a perfect electrolyte replenisher. If you think that's gross, like my brother thinks, you can buy no salt. So you can have some salt, and you can have some no salt, which is basically potassium, which the doctor, when you have congestive heart failure or hypertension, says use no salt, because potassium is is a salt and it has a salty taste. Or you can get the Centrum. I would get the magnesium mag sulfate, magnesium sulfate, and salt, and basically potassium. So you can get that whether you're doing the pickle juice part. Low sodium will make you have dizzy spells. you won't feel very good. And yeah, you should. That might have been what got you into the hospital. LA, you can come on and talk as well, specifically your experience. There is a book called The Complete Guide to Fasting. I will pop that up for you. This is with Jason Fung, a nephrologist that, here we go. I'm going to share that with you guys. That's the book. Jason Fung has a clinic in Toronto where he's a physician. So he does prolonged fasting to reverse diabetes and a lot of other things under his clinic's supervision. Yeah, he's an actual practicing nephrologist, and nephrologists, most of their patients have kidney failure. Most of the kidney failure is caused by diabetes, and the diabetes is progressive because they actually treat diabetes with the very molecule that causes diabetes. It's equivalent to doing cocaine, constantly doing cocaine, and you have this regular level of cocaine in your body and stops getting you high. You need a little bit more cocaine. And what's happening? You're just getting a resistance to a molecule that is constantly present and high. So he's a nephrologist. For a long time, he's not allowed to use a ketogenic diet because it doesn't fit into the College of Medicine standards of practices. Many doctors getting in trouble for telling their patients to fast or to do ketogenic diets. I talked to an endocrinologist. They are hormone specialists, and this endocrinologist was in a big disagreement on low carbohydrate diets to create lower insulin, which is proven to reverse what she's trying to treat with insulin. Yeah. Yep. I'll leave it at that. I wouldn't want to get a misinformation strike. But if I do, that misinformation, I'll get the strike, but we know that, the specialists got the strike. Go. Sending in a link, guys. Wish there was more questions, eh? Hey, Denis, ça va bien, man? On s'est vu hier. T'as vécu le franglais. Le franglais. Pauvre alias, il y avait, on dirait, c'était comme, on l'utilisait comme un dictionnaire anglais-français. Je suis vraiment heureux de te revoir. This is Denis Valancourt. It's not the first time that I've seen Dennis here, but I saw him recently because I did a stream on my brother's French channel, French astronomy channel. His main one is Bruce Cizal. I think we're all aware of that. And he has Ovni Astronomie Québec, I believe, where he shares in the French language a lot of his research that he's doing on Bruce Cizal. Fait que merci mon ami, bien fier de te revoir. Denis says, I have some health problems, MPAC and Crohn. Can you think it can be on a diet? Tu parles-tu MPOC comme maladie pulmonaire obstructive chronique? C'est MPOC, hein? C'est juste une erreur que tu as. You understand it. Let me know if you understand English. You seem to probably be able to get around. Anything that allows you to do more and more fasting, prolonged, okay, will have a very, very good anti-inflammatory effect. So carbohydrates, Denis, produces the most CO2. There's something I learned in respiratory therapy. It's called a respiratory quotient, and it shows how much CO2 is produced when that macronutrient is used. Especially a very high carbohydrate diet will actually produce a very high amount, well, very high. It will produce the most CO2 as a byproduct. If you have MPOC, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease in English, he can benefit from a low carbohydrate diet, as well as it's naturally an anti-inflammatory diet because you're removing all the omega-6. Denis, just tell me if you understand English well enough, or if you really just want me to take a moment and speak French to you. C'est ça. Yeah, so he has chronic COPD in English, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. T'es-tu correct si je te parle? Okay, he seems to be okay in English. So COPD is a chronic inflammatory disease within the lung. It causes increased in some mucus production. It causes chronic inflammatory state with acute inflammation periods. And also we have muscles around our airways, and these tighten up. So what he has is inflammation, and he has a predisposition because of that irritation to tighten up. So he probably, Denis probably takes a bronchodilator, the blue pump, also an anti-inflammatory pump. And these pumps do not heal or reverse the damage done. But what it does do is it prevents acute episodes from occurring. Every time your COPD is not well controlled, you lose a little bit more of your lung function. So if you are eating anything in the middle of the grocery store, they all have these omega-6 seed oils, these vegetable oils. Removing that, going after eggs. Eggs have decent amount in their yolk of omega-3, which is anti-inflammatory. Go after cod liver in a can. Go after sardines. Go after a lot of fish, but avoid omega-6 like the plague. You will be getting the normal amount of omega-6 if you're eating animal food, okay? But we are speaking now of trying to treat a illness. And first of all, yes, food can be your medicine. Get all of that omega-6 out. And that omega-6 can stay a very long time in your body because it is a component in a lot of things. So you might have a year now of omega-6 still causing the inflammation, even though you're switching up your diet. So how do we get those omega-6? The fastest way out is, well, let's fast, okay? The fasting will go get a lot more of the fat cells and stuff like that. You will have a healing process that's called autophagy. So fasting truly heals. Bruce is a wonderful example. You can tell that he is not only losing weight, he is healing himself of many of his ailments, primarily his eye issues. And he has this story of her shirt turning black from the sweat, I guess. And I didn't want to talk about that on his channel, but I believe it's called hematoma. I have to look it up, but whatever black stains that were coming out of Bruce were it's highly probable that it was a form of bacteria that the body is using and able to expel. It's a theory. I'll pop that up another time. But for my friend Denis, go keto. All right. And if you have trouble fasting, what I want you to do is mimic a fast where you're eating, you're trying to fast without eating. But if you are hungry, you can, depends how, like me, I don't mind. You can put like butter in your mouth, spoonful of butter. That's gross. Have yourself a few strips of bacon. Have some eggs, but just put the egg whites aside for when you break your fast. Just take the egg yolk. So what we're doing is we're creating a very similar, we're mimicking what would happen if you were really fasting. Really fasting, you have a low insulin, there's no sugar, there's fat, there's ketones. If you're adding fat, it's like your body's not like, oh, I'm not fasting anymore, because it's the same stuff. It didn't change at all what's happening in your blood during a fasted state. I think that it can help you tremendously. I think that I know, depending how short of breath you are, that any ability to increase your fitness means that your muscles use less oxygen to get the same thing done. So we know that with your chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, we know that any amount of light fitness will also have a good effect on your dyspnea, on your sensation that you're short of breath. And we can work one-on-one with that, or we can, if you would like to come up, we can have other discussions, and we can speak in French too. I don't mind. LA has a question. Jason, I drink every day. I eat one time a day. I gained weight. Alcohol is calories converted to fat. Right. Yeah. So if you drink every day, you're drinking malts and barleys, I'm assuming, or worse if you're, there's usually a lot of sugar. Let me know exactly what kind of booze that you're drinking. If you're doing that every day, I would suggest, well, how much, what happens is right away, the minute alcohol hits your blood, it will burn that right away. Once it burns through that, then it'll burn any glucose, trying to return the glucose to a normal level. And then fat is the last time. So if you're having a meal where, there's fat, because you're eating a steak or whatever, and then after you're putting spaghetti in there, and, the spaghetti has seed oils as well. And then after, you're tanking, you drink a bottle of wine a day. That's going to greatly hinder your weight loss, because as well, all the malt and the barley and any of the carbs that are in there will go into your muscles, or if your muscles are already full, it will turn to fat. So I don't know the whole story, but you can definitely hinder your weight loss by regular alcohol consumption. Christy did good. She bought chicken livers for dinner. I got to try that. Like I said, of course, calories in and calories out are a major factor. It would be stupid to say that calories in and calorie out doesn't matter. But it's just that it's not simply that. What I can do after an answer, actually, the calorie in and calorie out, I had actual studies that I wanted to talk about that. that macronutrients, as I said, remember 1,000 calories of carbohydrates, right? And 1,000 calories of protein and 1,000 calories of fat. 1,000 calories of fat will mimic a fast. You will probably not lose any muscle. You'll suck through your fat a lot faster. So at the end of a month, you've consumed the same amount of calories, but your body composition is different. Same thing with pure glucose. Pure glucose, you'll start losing the muscle. You are not supplying any building blocks. You're just overdosing. It's way too much gasoline. It's way too much energy. And you will end up changing your body composition where you have a lot more fat and you have less muscle over that year. Because specifically, you're eating glucose. That's not a fast. It's not doing the same thing as mimicking with the fat. Do you understand? So yes, calories in and calories out have an effect, but the hormonal and insulin, as an example, but other hormonal changes are vastly different with each macronutrient. And then it becomes vastly different if you're combining them. If you're combining a fatty meal with carbohydrates, junk food, so way too much sugar, okay, it'll probably spill out into fat. The fat that you're consuming, first of all, I doubt that it's good fat, right? It's going to be like seed oils. Those will inflame you. So I want you to understand it's not so simple as calories in and calories out. We're going to get back to that. So I'm going to keep you popped up here. Jason, I have some health problems, chronic. Okay, we went through that. Yeah, so LA. Yeah, so you were passing out. So I bet you felt like poop prior to passing out. Listen to your body. Okay, break those fasts if you're having issues. A 3-day fast, I find that I don't even have I've done it without even thinking about electrolytes. I've been okay, but like don't forget, if you're sweating your butt out outside and you salt, you can taste the sweat, the salt. I mean, yeah, not a good time to fast maybe, or you got to replenish the salt. So that's why if LA you're interested, the book I just showed you, the complete guide to fasting. I think it's Richard Moore co-authored, but Jason Fung is primarily the knowledgeable one. Read it. Read the whole book prior to starting a fast, or you Patreon if you want one-on-one, or look, we just figured this one out as well. We can do it face-to-face here. I'm going to go through what happens when you are on a salt-free diet. Can't have no salt because of high potassium. I understand. I know your specific issue that you had talked about, a certain amount of congestive heart failure. So naturally, yeah, they'll say to reduce salt intake. But don't forget at the same time, if you are getting ankles that are swollen, or you got that cough and they're saying it's a little bit of water on your lung, you do still, in my opinion, need to consume a little bit of salt, a little bit of crack here, a little bit, don't go overboard. You could do the experiment with your blood pressure machine if you have one. Take it, have a salt meal, right? Wait about 30 minutes to half an hour, 30 minutes, take your blood pressure, do it in an hour, do it in an hour and a half, see how the salt plays with you. I really think that if you're still maintaining a low carb, quite I believe carnivorous diet, not forgetting that if you are like full on carnivore guys, I'm not an extremist. If you're like my carnivore diet is steak, beef, and water and salt. I know Jordan Peterson says that's what he survives on. I've heard that to a certain extent there is vitamin C in fresh muscle meat, but there's definitely vitamin C in liver. I'm a big advocate, even though I've had a little bit of trouble getting used to the taste. I am very, very pro liver. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So talk to me specifically if you're doing the most strict beef, steak, ground beef, and that's it with salt and water. I suggest, take a multivitamin. Why not have a little bit of lemon water or something like that? I don't like to I want to prove the carnivore diet. You don't need this. I'm not into that. I'm not into being like, oh, you don't need supplements during the transition. I just want things to go as smoothly as possible for you. So yeah, you can't avoid salt like the plague. And we've talked privately, Darla, and you said you go to the doctors, you have hypertension, and then you check it over with your machine, and then it's not high at all. So I would I would bring your blood pressure machine next time to the doctor and go, I just want to check it with my machine, and just explain it. It's low when I'm here at home and it's high when I'm here. So just do it, and then I take it off, have them do it. It'll be a way of calibrating. Make sure that it's okay, no, it is accurate. So I'm obviously just high strung when I go see the doctor. What happens when you are on a salt-free diet? I do not agree with a salt-free diet if a person with congestive heart failure or just hypertension is doing keto. The salt will do a lot different than you would do with high carb, as we said. You understand that, right? I believe that I've had a conversation. Is it with you, or is it that your husband as well had a very good experience, and he was on high blood pressure? If it's you, Mark, tell me if I'm wrong. But anyways, there was somebody. I'm pretending it's you. He was on high blood pressure medication, lost all the weight, removed all the omega-6, ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting. He's trying to do a little more exercise. So was he, I think, just walking around, and he was feeling dizzy. He's feeling unsteady. And I said, just check his blood pressure. He had low blood pressure. Why? Because he had healed the inflammation within his vessels. He was getting healthier. He no longer had high blood pressure. And now he's on a blood pressure medication to lower it. So he stopped the blood pressure medication. He maintained the normal amount of salt. And looked like he, would we be able to maybe say he healed himself? So we can, I know you're part of the Patreon, so we can have a closer one-on-one discussion and focus on doing these cereal, not like cereal to eat, cereal blood pressure measurements. Good question. LA is aware of Jason Fung. Thanks, buddy. Did I send a copy? Now's the time to pop up, guys. We're at an hour and a half. If no one's popping up, I still do want to read what LA was asking about calories in and calories out, which I'm not denying. I'm just saying it's not exactly that simple, even though it is a large part of it. I want to see what Denise says. How much salt for a carnivore per day? Salt to your liking. You know what I mean? Just crack some salt. Don't forget, you're getting, besides salt, you're probably, if you start looking at things, you are naturally getting a certain amount of salt. But next time, let's, Christy, or somebody, Christy, you have a job. while you're here, go see what the recommended salt intake is. I bet you it's around, is it 2,000 milligrams? It might be 2,000 milligrams. So yeah, that's your job. Shoot, go. Tell me what the recommended sodium level is. I craved salt and drank 3/4 of salt water yesterday, and it tasted amazing. Yeah, so if you're taking in salt, and then after the next coming hours, you're not like you're like thirsty and gorging it, you'll know I drank too much salt, and now I'm trying to dilute that salt with water. So if you crave that much salt, you like it, and you're not like downing water like after eating MSG noodles or something, then you're on the right track. How much grains and soy do you eat and recommend? I don't eat any soy. I don't know, why would I? I don't eat any soy. I do believe it is estrogenic. Okay, there's a reason why women are told that they can increase when they're in menopause soy intake, and it can help with menopausal. So yeah, it is a plant estrogen that is estrogenic. So I wouldn't eat it. It has only omega-6 polyunsaturated fat. And how many grains? Once in a while, like I had Triscuits recently, because I said to myself, I want to eat the cod liver. I don't enjoy eating it alone. I can drink the cod liver oil, but like the gelatin stuff, it's made to go on kind of crackers and stuff like that. So I bought Triscuits, and I'm putting it on that. So I'm like, hey, to get 15 grams of omega-6, when we look at sardines, 1.5 grams per whole can. So like if you eat 15 or close to 12 cans of sardines, you'll get that much omega-6 version in one can of drinking the oil and consuming the cod. It's just very gelatiny, and it's very fishy, but you can sneak that into a small amount of tuna. There's way. But just like I'm not crazy about liver, I consume it because I know it's a superfood. Just like I'm not crazy, like, oh my God, I'm craving my cod liver. No. But I do consume it because I consider it a superfood. There is nothing, in my opinion, that you can go to the grocery store and buy that has that much omega-6. You want to heal, omega-3. You want to heal your omega-6 ratio, then you keep for this, you make this a regular consumption. So I'm not pro grain. I fart and I get bloated. It's also a carbohydrate. So I'll start like eating the whole box of Triscuits and stuff like that. I don't think that grains as we use them are very good, but I'm not saying it's poison. I have to acknowledge, Guggen Slayer, that indeed other cultures that were very healthy in the book Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, some of them had oats, some of them had rye. I think that the preparation is very important. I think we've lost the art of preparation. But there's anti-nutrients in there. It's not just a gluten issue that people can have problems with. And so I think it's completely non-essential. And if you want to incorporate it, I would not incorporate it regularly. And I would look for recipes of how to prepare your own bread in a way that deactivates certain known anti-nutrients within it. Okay, it's compran. All right, thank you, Denny. Yes, 2 pumps. Good. We can talk privately if you want. I think you just joined my Patreon, so we can have some one-on-one conversations, and I'm there to support you, buddy. I am a member now, Jason. I talk with you later. Man, thank you very much, eh? Thank you. It's like $3.50. No, I've seen my mother go to Herbal Magic to May Weight Watchers and stuff like that, where you're not taught how to eat at all. You're taught like, we'll keep you stupid. You just do math. And as long as you follow that, you'll be fine. Not true, actually. Your metabolism in all of these end up being lower, even though you lost the weight. And nobody lives the rest of their lives looking at a Weight Watcher little chart board. They charge how much money? Herbal Magic, like you have to buy all sorts of supplements that aren't even proven. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and it's like, for me, I'm like, not totally greedy, but I'm like, man, like, I'm going to be your personal coach, and for $3.50, I think that's cool. I do a lot of streaming and stuff. It takes a lot of work, and my wife, I think, will complain less if I say, well, I made $30 a month on this. I could be like, it's a job. Merci beaucoup. Thanks so much for encouraging me on Patreon. Suspicious Sky in the house. How you doing, man? LA, it says your device is not connected. I see that you just pressed the link. Check your connection and try. I can see you, but I can't click anything. It says devices not connected on your side. When you get the pounding headache, that aspirin or Tylenol will not get rid of. Celery with a little peanut butter actually gets rid of them. I'm completely a believer in home remedies. I believe that that we have some wisdom there that our great grandparents and stuff that had. We'll try that. I do have white coat syndrome. Yeah. I'm kicking you out. It still says device not connected. I'll keep an eye on you. Definitely the minute I can see that you're connected, I'll let you on. I don't know, turn off your phone, make sure your Wi-Fi connection is good or something like that. Yeah, I hear you. You're saying like Chrome not always has permission. Crossing my fingers, buddy. Yeah, so for the salt, 230 milligrams. Okay, so don't take 230 milligrams. Salt to your liking. You don't have to go up to the recommended dose, right? 1 teaspoon of salt a day. Okay, so lightly salt, but please do the serial blood pressures, right? Okay, get up, gonna do relax or whatever, take a blood pressure. Okay, have your meal, sit down for 20 minutes or so, take your blood pressure, then check in an hour, check in 2 hours, as many times as your patient to do, and bring that blood pressure machine to the next time you go to the doctor, and hey, you'll know if it's working or not. The only way I can eat liver is if I made as whatever way you can do is better than not doing it. To allow connection to StreamYard. Well, keep on trying, buddy. Okay, salut, Denny. All right, Denny is out of the house. LA. I don't know, dude. I wish I could help you. Okay, we are at an hour and 46. Usually it's, I want to limit it to an hour and a half, but I will stretch it to 2 hours. If nothing's happening, I just want to read something from the Bible. So in the morning, I do my daily bread, right, from the Bible. And then after I do my daily bread is horrible with this Bible. So I think that I'm very well balanced with daily bread, and daily bread will kill you. All right, man. Maybe next week. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Suspicious is saying if you are trying to enter through Chrome and it's not letting you, you may need to open the app. I don't know if you're comfortable giving a email. Like I have an email that I don't care if trolls are on and stuff. It's not my personal. It's like JJSW. I don't use it for anything. If there is an email, I can try and send the link right away. It's a little dark here, but let me read the section here that says maximizing weight loss, and it's comparing a low fat to ketogenic. So wow, it's really hard to read in the dark. Let me try and put on the light or something. All right, so maximizing weight loss, low fat, or ketogenic. While the ketogenic dieting may help with hunger and satiety, the bigger questions are, can you adhere to it? And how does it fare in terms of weight loss? An extensive review of several studies found that in nearly 70% of those lasting from 6 to 36 months, overweight individuals had a greater adherence, so they stuck to it, greater adherence to a ketogenic diet than to a low-fat diet. This was published in 2009 by Hessian et al. So when it says et al, it just means and colleagues or associates. Don't judge me. I'm an addict. I'm a nicotine addict. I'm out of control. All right. The satiating effects of the ketogenic diet made it easier to stay on it because you're not hungry all the time. You're more likely to stick to this way of eating. What's unique about the ketogenic dieting is that you can lose fat even without being told to reduce the number of calories you consume. So like LA said, calories in, calories out. So here's the first thing. Yes, that is, to a certain extent, a very important component, but it's not limited to that. Now, if you do a low-fat, high-carb meal, they directly tell you to calorie restrict. So you're doing low-fat, high-carb, you're hungry with that calorie restriction. Then after you try a low-carb, high-fat diet, they do not tell you to reduce your calories, but you feel so full and satiated that you unknowingly do it. Do you understand? Both of them are calorie restricting. One of them, your body is yelling at you. And the other one, which I think is a more appropriate human diet, everything seems to smooth out very, very well. So that's the first thing that the studies are talking about over here. The satiating effects of the ketogenic diet makes it easier to stay on it because you're not hungry all the time. You're more likely to stick to this way of eating. What's unique about the ketogenic dieting is that you can lose fat even without being told to reduce the number of calories you consume. This was said in 2004, 2003, 2006, and 2000 study. This is a quote by someone who is unknown, telling me that weight loss is just eating less calories than you burn is like telling an athlete that all they have to do to win the game is score. Sounds simple, but it's really not. I did show yesterday, the last Monday stream, also this section here with studies and the effects, varying macronutrients, varying degrees of carbohydrates and stuff like that. And the conclusions are for these low carb variations is decrease hunger in the three groups. They had 100, 60, and 30 grams. They naturally, in one of them with 80 grams, they naturally decreased their calorie intake by 30%. We see again calorie intake 2 kilograms down in 14 days, less hunger, less body weight, less hunger, less calorie intake, hunger's less, cravings less, hunger less, appetite less, appetite less. Okay, and this is pretty much, this is what's very, very frustrating for me, is that I got a book with, I would maybe guess, 1,000 citations, all of the science here, yet it is not acknowledged. If you look at Nina Scherkel, The Big Fat Surprise, the low carbohydrate advocates and scientists were not allowed to sit at the round table when the new Canadian Food Guide was created. They were invited and then quickly uninvited. All of the science explains why the ketogenic diet it works, how it's safe long term, and that's why I don't take I don't have a lot of respect for nutrition science. I'll fight back nutrition science with nutrition science to show that, like, well, you guys are cherry picking this to make all your big corporations selling wheat, soy, grain, seed oils, and stuff like that. You guys do these studies, and you can tell the methodology. No one looks at it. It's borderline charlatans. And obviously these studies, a lot of them are done by Nestle, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo. Large corporations are being told to do over and over the same studies when they wanted to say that fat causes diabetes. They were using seed oils, which I think I actually believe that you can cause significant inflammation to the point where you are requiring higher insulin because it's recognizing that you're not getting sugar in there, and that's because there's a resistance, because the membrane that causes the bodyguards basically are ruined. Let's go back with my camera. I'm hiding and reading my Bible. Studies consistently show that a carbohydrate diet results in more weight loss than a low-fat diet. For example, in one study, after 6 months, weight loss was greater among those with the ketogenic diet than those following a low-fat diet. This was in 2009. However, in most of these studies, protein intake is greater in the ketogenic dieting group. This makes it unclear whether it's the ketogenic diet or the high protein intake driving the increased weight loss. I think that if you eat what you're made of, you're going to have a better body composition. I think, me personally, I cannot overdo protein unless it's like milk, or unless I'm doing a whey protein kind of shake. So I don't count protein. I just eat steak, beef, cheese, eggs, lamb, fish. I eat to satiety, understanding that there is omega-6 and omega-3, but they're well balanced. And if I'm hungry, I'll eat. And if I'm not hungry, I won't eat. And for some reason yesterday, I had 3 meals. Like I was like a monster. I was hungry. And today I have not eaten yet. and I'm not even thinking of food yet. So, it is what it is, right? It's the truth. So let's just continue. However, in most of these studies, protein intake is greater. That's why I say for me, it's like, don't try and attain a certain amount of fat. I say just eat animal food. If you notice for keto, it's very similar to carnivore. It's like just eat whatever animal food you want and whatever amount satisfies you. If you want to have side dishes, well, sure. If you're into vegetables and enjoy it, have that, and well, what's happening is the protein is being put where it's supposed to be. It's animal protein, so it's anabolic. So it is going to help with your body composition. Any muscle, because you're actually feeding the majority of the food, fat and protein, you might actually just naturally, without even doing much, get more muscle. Muscle increases metabolism. Muscle also allows you to sneak more carbohydrates because there's a bigger reservoir capacity. So that's what I'm saying. It's long term. It's not just about calories. And what happens is, if you're eating often, but they say like eat smaller meals more often. Well, first of all, that keeps your insulin going the whole time because those smaller meals are still majority carbs. So you have a constant stream of insulin. Then you're actually hungry. So I bet you're eating more often. You can't wait a couple of days and finally you have a meal at night because you're ravenous. And at the end of these calorie restrictions, your body will not ongoingly, let's say I say, oh, negative 500. Oh, I'm losing weight. Oh, I'm a skeleton. I'm still no. Your body, if you're consistently doing 500 calories, it catches up at one point. It doesn't say to itself, oh, I'm fasting, there's a famine. It's saying, no, this bugger's just giving me less energy. He's eating all the time. So what happens is over time, your metabolism goes down. Then you plateau and it's like, it's not working. And then your appetite is increasing. But what do you have to do while your appetite's increasing in this way of dieting? You're going to go like this. What happens when somebody starts exercising more? Their appetite goes up. It's just a mess. Like you're struggling with hunger. It's not a natural way to eat. I just simply say, guys, eat as much animal food as you want. And if you want vegetables, have vegetables. And that's it. If you're hungry, eat more animal food. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Add some fasting. Don't count anything. Just know what carbs are. All right. That's pretty much everything I need to teach you guys. Like, seriously. Studies consistently show blah, blah, blah. We already did this. They talk about, well, maybe it's the protein. Yeah, sure. Maybe it is protein because people lose a lot of weight in a high protein diet too. You can lose either way. I just think that going way too high on protein and restricting the fat, it's probably not the best long-term way of eating. It could be like a hack that you're like, yeah, I'm just going to eat very lean. And well, yeah, now you're not supplying any fat. So your body is only getting protein. All it can do is turn a little bit of that into sugar just to maintain your blood sugar. Yeah, the rest of the protein will be turned to sugar and it'll go at least into your muscles, the protein. But it's not a long-term thing because fat is what gives us true satiety. And our bodies are made of fat. All our brain is like a majority fat. It has the highest concentration of those omega-3s, the DHA, the EPA, every hormone, cholesterol, your sex hormone, testosterone, estrogen, all of the enzymes, cells, vessels. You know what it is? It's fat and cholesterol. So why are they telling us, oh, well, if you eat that, it's going to go the wrong place? No, actually, like I'm built of that and I kind of probably need it or else I'm not going to have the best body composition. It just makes sense. Like you don't even need to understand the science. Like tell me, like, does that make sense? It does. their social media using these stupid, crappy, crooked. Oh, we just did a publication there. Then they'll even like make the headline something that's not even said in the study. They know that people will not really dig in. What else? Recent research from a lab, Wilson, in 2017 found that 8 weeks of resistance training combined with a ketogenic diet resulted in the loss of 9 pounds of body fat. So that's not just 9 pounds, that's 9 pounds of specifically body fat. While the same exercise combined with a traditional current low-fat diet resulted in a loss of 4 pounds of fat. Okay, not even like pretty much half, right? But still, they're using that as the gold standard, the low fat, even though keto actually just doubled it. One key element of our study, protein intake, was the same in both groups. In another study done by Young in 1971, sedentary, overweight college students were divided into 3 groups that consumed either 100, 60, or 30 grams of carbs. 100 considered low carb, you'll still get success. 30, you could still be in ketosis depending on your activity level. So I would consider it a ketogenic diet, and 60 to 100 low carb. Of the carbohydrates per day. So protein intake was the same for all group, 175 grams. So the lowest carbohydrate group, which was 30 grams, had the highest ketone levels, normal. That's a energy source that is derived from fatty acids that is changed from fatty acids into ketones through your liver. So the lowest carb group had the highest ketone levels, and the highest carbohydrate had the lowest ketone levels. Weight loss was greatest, and muscle mass was preserved the most in the lowest 30-gram group. The fact that weight loss was primarily due to loss of body fat indicates that ketones may spare us from losing muscle when in caloric deficit, which makes sense because when you are fasting, and ketosis is a fast mimicking diet because it creates a very similar setup hormonally and metabolically. It's set up to imitate pretty much a fasted state. So the body maintains these things that they would do during a true fast to maintain muscle. You eat this way, okay, the body is not going to start all your muscle, okay, while it has fat. Fat is supposed to be the calories that you use, right, when there's no food. It's like a guy stocking up on firewood all winter, and the first time he needs wood, he starts like burning his rocking chair and burning his tables for wood. Well, maybe we are so stupid sometimes to do that. There must be somebody on earth that does that, but the body certainly isn't. So the lowest carbohydrate group had the highest ketone levels, and the highest carbohydrate group had the lowest ketone levels. Weight loss was greatest, and muscle mass was preserved, as I just said. Sorry for rereading it. The most in the lowest carbohydrate group. The fact that the weight loss was primarily due not water weight, but to body fat indicates that ketones can spare us from losing muscle when in a caloric deficit. You don't get that with the low fat. While the reason for this advantage are uncertain, Dr. Volek, 2002, postulates that a ketogenic dieting creates a unique metabolic state, took the words right out of my mouth, a unique metabolic state in which fat loss can occur even as caloric intake is maintained. See, now you're losing weight even without changing calories. So do you understand what I mean by it's not so simple as calories in, calories out? Of course, there is a huge aspect of that, but it is probably 50% or maybe even lower percent. I think the body composition that is created and the hormonal influence of each individual macronutrient, and as well as, again, another complex issue when you're combining them. Okay, the worst thing to do is combine a high carb, high fat diet. So high carbs in that meal and high fat in that meal. Pure garbage. You're gonna get fat, and it's not a good way. So he postulates that the ketogenic dieting creates a unique metabolic state in which fat loss can occur even as caloric intake is maintained, and possibly even with a slightly increased caloric intake. The reason centers around gluconeogenesis. Recall from chapter 1 that gluconeogenesis, our ability through fat and protein to create actual glucose, which is why technically it's a non-essential nutrient. The reason centers around gluconeogenesis. Recall from chapter 1 that in gluconeogenesis, glucose is produced from non-carbohydrate sources. When carbohydrate intake is low and protein intake is moderate, the body uses fatty acids and glucogenic amino acids, so glucose producing protein precursors, that are not essential for building muscle. So it's used for glucose. In order to make 1 gram of glucose, 10 grams of fat need to be broken down. So do you understand? I'm not giving any glucose, so we need the body to gluconeogenesis, create it. But because it doesn't have it in the food, it goes and it looks at the fat. So it wants to create glucose to maintain your blood sugar. So you have to burn 10 grams of fat to produce 1 gram. So just the fact that you are converting things into glucose means that you're burning calories. It's taking calories to maintain your blood sugar, which has nothing to do with calories in and calories out. As we can see, it's a lot more complex. We're almost done. I might stop just around here. So when carbohydrate intake is low and protein intake is moderate, the body uses fatty acids and the glucogenic amino acids that are not necessarily essential for building muscle. In order to make 1 gram of glucose, though, 10 grams of fat are needed to be broken down. So the simple fact that the ketogenic diet restricts glucose, carbs, and to a lesser extent protein, means that more fat needs to be used to create glucose, needed for certain body processes that rely on glucose. Any potential reason why ketogenic diets may offer an advantage is related to a concept known as feed efficiency, which refers to how much fat is stored for every calorie of food consumed. We'll leave it at that. We can continue on about that. That's a little study, which is perfect because that's exactly what LA was kind of, hinting at, like, hey, calories in, calories out. And it's like, yes, I agree. But it's like asking an athlete, I like that expression. It's like asking an athlete to score, and then off you go now. And it's like, oh, that's simple. Not so simple. So we have calories in and calories out is a partial answer. And what's beautiful about not counting calories, just knowing to avoid carbohydrates, okay, or know what carbs are and decide and be aware of the grams. If I'm out off my lazy butt, not streaming and doing something, my wife just asked me to do, I'm going to use more energy. I might have more of an appetite, right? So I find eating the way I'm eating, saying I don't care, don't count the fat, don't count the protein, just eat this food, avoid that food, eat when hungry, don't eat when hungry, don't eat when you're not hungry, kind of thing like that, causes a very variable. It varies a lot. So you're mixing it up, Oops, and then after maybe, you had some peanuts or some kind of nut or seed, and maybe you had this time some berries and you put some cream on it. It's like, oh, you just surprised your body. You just popped yourself out of ketosis. What's wrong with that? Any other questions? Okay, perfect, LA. So like I said, if you appreciate my work, don't go now. Give me a couple more weeks. If you're new, I'm there to help you. I will answer the questions. It is important to be repetitive. Okay, I know a lot of people have started where they don't know, right? They're a blank slate. They're confused. They've been lied to. If you're at a point where you get nauseated from hearing me say over and over the same thing, perfect. Mission accomplished. That means that you can go and start making other people nauseous. This is as well as my morning bread, right? My morning carb, where I read the Bible every morning with a community of believers. I want to form a community here as well. I want this community to be founded on at least the truths that I show scientifically, and I want you to go help others. You don't think that my brother lost, 2 weeks ago, 70 pounds, that's not only losing weight but healing himself. You don't think that he's going to start passing that on? If you guys, are getting a significant improvement. But we are not like Weight Watchers. I will not just blindly say, look, just trust me, eat this and don't eat that. And it's like, no, I want you to understand the biology, the chemistry, the biochemistry of weight maintenance, weight loss, and all of that. We don't need to go into the friggin' crib cycle and acetylcholinesterase, all that stuff. That's not necessary. But we do have to understand things like glucose and things like macronutrients, how they affect it, sugar or glucose, carbs, when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate. I am not telling my 2 young guys to avoid carbohydrates like the plague if the guy is trying to pump some iron. What I'll tell my boys is, well, if you are weight training, I want you to weight train. I want you to have a big meal with carbohydrates, but why don't you start with 50 carbs? And I said the other meals, until the next time you go train, there's no need for carbs. You just did exercise. Now, all that sugar went in the right place, your muscles. It's going to be held there until you pump the iron again. Then I tell them that one meal, maybe you need a second meal, no problem, but fast as many hours intermittently until you get to the next training. Do you train and eat something before? No. When you eat, you activate the rest and digest system. Oh, I ate too much. Oh, you'll watch some TV. I never feel energized after stuffing my face to get to the gym. I feel like sleepy. So you want to enter the gym like a hungry lion that has not had his meal. Have you ever been at work and you forgot your lunch or something? Do you feel like, or you're like, oh man, freaking hungry, I forgot my lunch. Vending machine's empty. No, you're like piped up. You're revved up. So you go into your training session, you young muscular, future Arnolds. You go into there awake. Okay, you've been fasted. You have ketones. Your cognition is good. You have a regular stream of energy. You pump that out to failure as fast as possible. Get in and out of the gym. Carb up meal, another meal if you like. That's just animal food, and you keep on going like that. Why is it so important? And we're gonna quit here soon, guys. Okay. If you go to fasting and growth hormone, it's going to go to the image. All right, here we go. Show me the money. There we go. Image. So check this out. Okay, view image. All right, this comes from the Journal of Clinical Investigation. It's an old study, guys. Old doesn't mean that it's wrong, okay? So here is a timeline. 8 in the morning, 8 p.m., 8 in the morning, right? So here it's saying that from 8 in the morning to 8 p.m., these spikes are growth hormone. Growth hormone is a good thing to build muscle. Weight trainers don't just inject anabolic steroids, testosterone. They cheat with growth hormone to get maximum growth. So here's the typical guy, goes to bed at 8, and then after he gets a spike of growth hormone while he sleeps. And then early in the morning, he gets a growth hormone. The rest from 8 a.m. all the way back 12 hours later, he has no growth hormone spikes because he is eating constantly. So they thought, well, maybe this is like part of the cycle. Sorry, I'm not showing it. Darn it. Listen, this is fasting increases growth hormone. All right, from the Journal of Clinical Investigation. Like I said, over here is 8 in the morning, 8 p.m., back to 8 in the morning. Okay. What we see here is the control group, the typical people that go to bed at 8, get up at 8 in the morning. They have at one point during their sleep cycle, they have a growth hormone spike, and they have another one, in the morning. But after 8 a.m. all the way back to 8 p.m., 12 hours, not one secretion of growth hormone. We used to think that, it must have to do with sleep. It's part of our circadian rhythm. Growth hormone happens at night when you sleep, early on and late on. No, that's not true. It's because we are not eating for 8 hours here, and then we're almost eating for 16 hours all throughout the day. Snack meal, cheat, oops. And what we see here is this is the level, okay? So it hits around, let's say 30. This is a 1-day fast. So this is what I'm suggesting to my boys. I say you eat for the day, okay? Have a carbohydrate meal if you are weight training, right after beasting, right after training. What happens to my boys when I do that is they get 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and not just 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. These ones here attain 80. This is like 40 total. Here is 20. We already got our 40 here. Then after we double with another 40, that's 80. And then we double that with an 80. That's 160. okay, a concentration of growth hormone, okay? And this is, nobody talks about that. But the truth is, eating before training is the worst thing to do. I guess Jason needs a sheet over him in a tent. Is it because of that flashlight there? All right. Yeah, this I've admitted it. I don't smoke cigarettes. I've been hooked on frickin' nicotine replacements for a shameful amount of time. I'm working on it. Pray for me. Pray for me. It's annoying. Yes, why I want to call specifically about alcohol fuel. It'll be burned as calories for sure. Thanks, some kind appreciations. I like the tent with the flashlight. Yeah, there to a certain extent, cortisol can make you have trouble losing weight. I'm telling you, my sleep habit is horrible. I sleep like 4-5 hours a night. I've gone through 3 of the most stressful, one thing after another, finance, health, everything. Okay, and my cortisol is normal. So yeah, I know in the books, I'm not denying it. They say cortisol, but I don't know. I don't know if it's overhyped or not. Stress is not good though, that's for sure. It's definitely going to aggravate any of our chronic diseases. But let's get rid of those chronic diseases with gradually extending our fasts, using fat to not break a fast. So it's like, hey, I want to do a fast. No problem. Try and do it for a day. Oh, you did it, great. Try and do it for 48 hours. At 36, I needed to eat something. Okay, eat some bacon. Shove some butter in your face. Okay, see how you feel in an hour. Do you still want to break your fast? No, you're not hungry anymore. Continue. If you have to shove once in a while fat in your face, and that gives you the ability to extend and extend, to heal and heal along with the weight loss, go for it. There are some tricks. All right, guys. Last attempt with an invite, and then I'm gone. I did 2 streams this morning. You can go check that out. I did the daily bread, which was quite rapid. I wanted to do a second part because I did a word study on the Holy Spirit. Our spirit, Holy Spirit, evil spirit, Antichrist spirit. And it was a good, I really enjoyed it. And then I have some people from a community that, they just don't believe in the Bible. I say community. They don't like me saying that you're bunching me. I'm not from. Yes, you go to a community online, and that community, I see you guys sometimes. It's not necessarily the person in the community that's saying something that's horrible about me or towards me, but because they're just sitting there and they're not calling the person out, going like, dude, like what's up with you? Like why are you doing that? Then I kind of say, well, I guess they're all in agreement. Plus, it seems to a certain extent aggravate them when I say your community. So why would I stop that? Yeah, so they showed up, and I block them because I do the morning bread, and that's something, that a way of sharing my faith, and I do that in the morning. I did unfortunately, a gentleman was calling me a coward because I didn't want to let him on my daily bread. But the daily bread is for Christians. It's like, hey, I'm going to read a Bible passage. Let's start out the morning good with the Word of God. I read, it helps me be consistent. I have like within 2 days about 50 people that look. Maybe there's like 7 to 8 people that are there live. And sometimes I do special editions like word studies, and I'm loving it. It's, to me, it's helping me spiritually. It's keeping me, sharp. I'm a Christian, and I share that. That's why my name. That's why it's called Jason John Swartz. It's me. I produce content that represents me very often. And then after, when I'm daily concentrating on my spiritual body and hopefully helping other people together improve our spiritual body, then Mondays I get to help people with their physical bodies. And then after I go to the hospital, ICU, ER, OR, then I get to help people with their physical health as well. I'm blessed. Like wherever I'm going, I'm serving others. And it gives me so much value to my life, Did you... So LA said that he's checking with the permission. Last try, LA, and if it doesn't work, I gotta go. I got another response video to do. So I did the morning bread. The community, one of the gentlemen was there trolling, calling me a coward for not allowing him to come onto the daily bread when he is straight out against real Christianity, how it's been taught. I know there's variations, but 2,000 years, most Christians can sit down and they understand the basics. They're not going off on tangents and stuff like that. The core tenets of Christianity. And I was being called a coward. And I'm like, why would I let you on the daily bread? Like, would we allow a bunch of Christians sitting down, having a coffee, reading, talking about our love for Christ, and let this guy in. He's going to call us a bunch of, coward idiots. He doesn't give us time to talk. It's like, no, I don't. That's not the kind of daily bread I want. That's not daily bread at all. So he called me a coward. So I was like, okay, well, look, I did an immediate stream after and allowed him to talk. I'll let the viewers decide if you're interested in seeing a real Christian that is biblical, that takes the Bible for what it says. I don't cherry pick or anything. And I just allowed him to express his disposition. And to be honest, it proved my point. There was another gentleman who doesn't do that, hangs around that community, but I really don't have anything negative to say. He seems to have a calm disposition, and so I appreciate that gentleman. So yeah, I had 2 hours of that, and that was like an exercise in and of itself. I was like, I am going to use this as an example of maintaining my Christian character when I'm being mocked and scoffed. And it was good. Towards the end, in fact, it was things had toned down. I think that was because of Freedom's calm disposition. It became 2 against 1. And I told them, listen, I'm going to do content. They are mad because I'm teaching true traditional Christianity, and they believe that it is misinformation, that is false. And this gentleman's one of them is very zealous. Many people in their group is zealous. And so far, I have a respect for, and since I'm talking nicely, I have a respect, for Freedom Grower. I deeply appreciate the temperament, and it's certainly I will make an effort to reciprocate that. But the other gentleman, it would have been impossible for me to prove every point that I find he was saying things that were actually not biblical. And it was like, well, I want the viewers to look at his disposition. That was like the whole point. Like, let's see what kind of fruit he's bearing, but I have an urge to go back and review and refute where he has gone wrong. LA, I am so sorry, buddy. It is just not working. It says device not connected. I don't know if you can use a different device. That's too bad. But don't worry. We'll find a way. All right. Anything in the private chat? LA, I don't know if you press on the clip. Look, okay, you've pressed. Are you able to go to the private chat? If you can go to the private chat before we finish here, because we're done. If you can put me your email, which people will not see, and I will copy paste that. And what I could do is my brother, it doesn't work either doing that. I always have to send him the link by email. He's such a prima donna, Bruce. He has to be special. He has to do it. No, I'm joking. It just doesn't work like you. So here's your time to put in private your email. And then next time I'll just email you the link prior to starting. Would you like to do that? Okay. Are you able now to write in private message? I'm waiting. Thank you. I'm not share screening. Perfecto. I will copy that. Copy. I'm not share screening, so messenger. Oh, doggy. I got it. I'm just going to put it on my PowerPoint. Don't worry, I'm not going to keep it there. All right, perfect. I have it, and I won't share it publicly, I promise. And why don't we call it a night, guys? I hope you enjoyed it. Share the news. And I saw that there are 2 more subscribers to my Patreon. So I'm going to jump on that shortly and say a quick hello. I'm still learning how to use the actual Patreon. I'm going to have to talk to Bruce, see, can I do live FaceTimes, or do I have to just within them send messages, which I could technically within Patreon send a link so that we can come here on a time and then do it offline, because I can do it offline. We shall see. Thank you so much, everybody, and God bless, and see you around. This was a good stream. I'm booting you out. Kicked from studio. I'm going to kick myself too.